Imagine you're working in a maintenance workshop or a factory, where your job is to paint metal surfaces using a solvent-based paint. The challenge is that this paint releases hazardous fumes, volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, which can cause headaches or dizziness, or even long-term health problems if inhaled too much. But the painting still needs to be done to protect the metal and give it a professional finish. Now think for a moment about how you might tackle this job in the safest way. Here are some options you might consider. Option 1. Use a completely different process like powder coating instead of liquid paint. Option 2. Switch from solvent-based paint to a water-based paint that produces fewer harmful fumes. Option 3. Keep using solvent-based paint but install a local exhaust ventilation system to extract the fumes. Option 4. Keep using the same paint but develop a safe work system with regular breaks and rotating staff to reduce exposure time. Option 5. Keep using solvent-based paint but wear a respirator while working. Which one would you choose? Let's talk about that first option, switching from solvent-based painting to powder coating. This is considered the safest choice because it gets rid of the hazard completely. Instead of dealing with liquid paint and its harmful fumes, powder coating uses dry powders that stick to the metal and are cured in an oven. There are no dangerous vapors released into the air, which means workers aren't exposed to harmful substances at all. Of course, powder coating might require new equipment, or might not be suitable for every kind of part you're working with, but when it's possible, it's the safest way to eliminate the risk altogether. Now let's look at the second option, switching to a water-based paint. This is safer than sticking with the original solvent paint because water-based paints produce far fewer harmful fumes. So while you're still painting and there's still some level of hazard, the risk to workers' health is much lower. The third option is installing a local exhaust ventilation system. If you decide to keep using solvent-based paint, having a strong ventilation system is an excellent way to make the environment safer. This kind of system physically pulls the fumes out of the workspace so workers breathe in far less of the harmful vapors. The challenge is that these systems have to be properly maintained and used every time. If someone turns off the fan because it's noisy, or if the ductwork gets clogged, the protection can fail. Next, there's the fourth option. This involves changing how the work is done. For example, you might write safe work procedures, schedule regular breaks, or rotate workers so no one is exposed to the fumes for too long at a stretch. These measures can help reduce how much solvent vapor a person breathes in. They're not costly and don't rely on equipment that might fail, but they do rely heavily on people following the rules. Workers might skip breaks to finish faster or forget steps in the procedure if they're distracted or under pressure. Finally, we come to the fifth option, wearing a respirator. This is always the last line of defense. It's important because it can protect workers from inhaling hazardous fumes, and it has some benefits. It's quick to implement, relatively low in cost, and can be used across different tasks. But it also has significant limitations. It only protects the person wearing it, and it depends on being used properly every time. A respirator has to fit the wearer's face perfectly and must be maintained and checked regularly. If it's not worn correctly, or if the filters are old or clogged, it may offer little to no protection. All of these options you've just heard, changing the process, switching the material, installing ventilation, setting safe procedures, and using PPE, aren't just random ideas. They actually follow a logical order used in workplaces around the world to manage risks. It's called the hierarchy of risk control. This hierarchy is a structured way to think about how we control risks, starting from the most effective methods at the top to the least effective at the bottom. The idea is simple. The higher up the method is, the better it is at protecting people. Let's walk through it using the painting example we've just discussed. Elimination. This means removing the hazard altogether. In our case, replacing solvent-based painting with powder coating eliminates the hazardous fumes entirely. No fumes means no exposure. Problem solved at the source. Substitution. If elimination isn't possible, the next best thing is to replace the hazard with something less dangerous. Switching to water-based paint is a good example. The hazard is still there, but the risk is reduced. Engineering controls, these involve physical changes to the workplace to reduce exposure. Installing a local exhaust ventilation system to remove fumes from the air is an example. These controls are effective, but they can fail if not maintained. Administrative controls. These change the way people work. Creating safe procedures, scheduling breaks, and rotating staff help reduce the time workers are exposed. But they rely on people remembering and following the rules, which isn't always guaranteed. Personal protective equipment, PPE. This is the last line of defense. Wearing a respirator offers some protection, but only to the person wearing it. And it only works if it's used properly every single time. So whenever you face a risk at work, don't jump straight to PPE. Always ask, can we eliminate the hazard? Can we substitute it? Can we control it at the source? That's the mindset behind the hierarchy, and it's the key to making work safer for everyone. If the hazard can't be eliminated, then a safe system of work and personal protective equipment must be used in combination with one or more higher-level control measures, such as substitution, engineering controls, or both. Remember, for different hazards, there are often several ways to reduce or control the risk. For example, an electrical hazard during a task might be eliminated by isolating the power supply, but in some cases, that isn't possible, and other control measures must be used instead. Thank you for watching. Check the video description below to download a free sample of our guide, Examples of Risk Controls for Common Workplace Hazards, or enroll in one of our courses for full access to course materials.